right. Did everybody get a chance to sign in? I see that when I put email on there, it means you're not going to give it to me. Okay. Well, whether I have it or not, right? I'll figure it out. But here, Vicki, I'm gonna real quick if I can.
Yeah.
Let Mindy get through. All right. So tonight we want to take some time and talk a little bit about desired outcomes for our church. Thank you for coming tonight. We are going to be recording this. There were already like 12 people that had watched last week's? 17 now. So several people have taken advantage of having that. I hope that folks will take advantage of watching this one as well. So we're going to spend a little time talking about desired outcomes. We will get into all of that. Did everybody grab the other sheet that was next to the sign-in sheet? You need one of these. Because we are going to be using it to look a little bit at what we're doing tonight. Okay? All right, so we'll let the last couple people sign in and then we'll get started here. Okay. Your cherry is nice. All right. Okay, well, again, thank you for coming tonight to be a part of this process of getting the ministry plan up and running, getting things ready and set to go. So, desired outcomes here. Desired outcomes. If you want to sign in, that'd be great. Grab one of those sheets as well. I've mentioned these for a couple of months now. I want to keep this in front of you. The whole idea here is, to the next slide there, we want to discuss these desired outcomes according to our stated desired outcomes, the ones that are already here, and then we'll talk about a little bit of the ministry plan and the next steps that are there. Okay? The idea behind this is that it's best to begin with the end in mind, and we need to decide what we want to have happen for every person who comes to Trinity. If they come once, okay, we want to have some idea of what we want them to experience. If they come regularly, we want to have some idea of what it means and what it would look like for them as they are part of what we're doing here. Okay? I think we can do more and do it better here at Trinity. I think there are opportunities for us to grow. And I think there is room to improve, and this also provides us an opportunity to focus on the future. What does the future look like for Trinity Lutheran Church? I'm sure all of you have some idea of that. You've got an idea in your head. But if we have 50 people in the room, how many different versions are there? Probably about 52. So we need to get on the same page with some of that as well and go from there. So next slide. My standard when I look at things is if I can do something good, it's good. If I can do something good and make a friend, that's better. And if I can do something good, make a friend, and have a chance to make a disciple, that's best. I get that from Greg Finke, the Joining Jesus guy. I think it's a wonderful way to look at just about everything that you're doing. And what does it mean to do something within the church? We want to get to that last one, where there is a chance to make a disciple. That's what we want. All right, so desired outcomes. This is on the top of your sheet if it's hard to read up there. The top of that sheet. Desired outcomes describe the ends or purposes of our church. Desired outcomes, policies, or ends policies describe what results we are here to achieve, who the recipients will be, and the cost of the results. These policies do not address means, methods, activities, or specific programs. Every policy in this section must address either results, recipients, or cost. Desired outcomes reflect the never-ending work of the board in determining what the church will attempt to accomplish in the future. That idea there is what the board used to work on desired outcomes. And so when, I think it was Kathy gave me these, after I mentioned desired outcomes, she gave me these, and so I started looking at them, and I want to use them tonight as a starting point for us, for a little bit of evaluation, but also then to springboard for our conversation on desired outcomes. So, the beginning idea, the global desired outcomes policy, is the desired outcome of Trinity Lutheran is to make disciples who are living the mission of Christ in Monroe area using the talents and resources God has provided. That is the point of being here. According to this paper that was ratified, I think it was 2016 was the original one. It was last looked at July 2025. 2016, when this was put together, that was the end purpose there. Do you hear any echoes in there of some stuff? How about to make disciples? That's Matthew 28, right? Yeah. You'll notice I haven't talked a whole lot about a mission and vision and statement and all that stuff. It's because I think the church already has one. Matthew 28. Go therefore, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them into the triune God and teaching them to obey everything Jesus commanded. That's a pretty good vision statement. Pretty good mission statement. I think we don't really have to rework that. That's why I haven't talked about it. I'm glad that that's in here in this global desired outcomes idea. Making disciples. You'll notice I also up on the screen highlighted living the mission. Living the mission of Christ in the Monroe area. Right? Our desired outcomes are going to be specific to our place. I am not running a church in Knoxville, Tennessee. If I was trying to run a church in Knoxville, Tennessee from here, that would be funky. Now, I know some guys that have multiple campuses all around the world. I don't know how they do that, right? Big churches, they've got multiple campuses around the world. I don't know how they could do that. But do they have somebody in those other places that are doing things there? For sure. Okay? And then, so our focus here is on what can we do for Monroe and Monroe County. I think it's a very simple and easy thing. Work where you are and try and do God's work in that place. You hear me talk about it all the time. Do the good God puts in front of you. Well, right now in front of us is, well, in front of me is Scott Street out here. Right? In front of you is Wadsworth. We got to do the work that needs to be done here. Is it, though, constrained to just here? Oh gosh, no. I don't think so at all. Now, using the talents and resources God has provided, I underline that in this thing, because we can't do what we can't do. If we don't have the talents and the resources to do it, God's not calling us to do it. Okay? I think that's a very simple limiting factor to help us as we're thinking about what we want to do. Right? If we want to grow Trinity Lutheran into the largest church in the Western Hemisphere, that's a really big goal. But it's probably also beyond Monroe. And with the talents and resources we have right now, I don't know that we can go too far. That said, the talents and resources here in God's hands, can they go really far? Remember the story of the feeding of the 5,000? How many fish and loaves did they have? 5 loaves and 2 fish. Jesus can do an awful lot with an awful little. Right? What was the disciples? How far will this go among so many? Jesus says, give it to me. That idea is also in play here. But guess what? You still have to have 5 loaves and 2 fish. You can't say, we need custard and hot chocolate. If you don't have it, God can make it come, but he's probably more likely going to use what's already there. Okay? So, that is the global idea here. Members of Trinity will live relationally with God, in their family, and in the body of Christ, and in the world. That's the results that this is looking for. That's that 1.1 there. I love that we're talking about living out our faith with God, in our family, in the body of Christ, and in the world. This is good. Now, notice the next one there talks about with God. And that is 1.1.1. I don't know who came up with this, but it's kind of fun. 1.1.1. Okay? With God. Individuals will develop their relationship as a child of God as indicated by engaging in worship regularly, participating in a small group, incorporating personal God times into their daily life, and leading others in the faith development process. What does that mean?
Becoming involved.
Okay? Some of it is pretty easy. Engaging in worship regularly. Yeah, come to church. What is regular worship attendance according to most Americans?
Twice a month.
Once a month or once every 6 weeks? That's it. What if I told you I want you here?
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. Now notice, could we get technical on some of this? Yeah. I don't know that I want to get too technical on it, but some of this is very, very clear. Participating in a small group, that could either be a Bible study, that could be a service group, that could be any number of smaller things within the church, right? It's okay. It's okay. I'm not exactly sure what God times are. If that's behind the wheel when you have a near miss, I don't think I want that. If this is devotions, prayer, something like that, okay, cool. But the faith development process, what is that? All of the above, okay? Okay? All right, if it's regular worship, okay, that's fine. I'm just asking if you have an idea of what's there. I know Kathy's going to share with me what they were thinking when they wrote it, because she was there.
No, actually, I have a question to the last slide, because 1.1.1 with God seems like it's your personal
Sure.
walk, but leading others seems more like a broader.
I actually like it. Maybe it's because I have it on the brain all the time. I see overflow here. Go to church, get in a Bible study, read your Bible, and then serve and witness. The only part that's left out is stewardship and fellowship. Well, fellowship's in there with the small group, right? I see overflow in here, and so I have no problem with what's there. What I love a little bit more specificity, because if we leave it up to people to define regularly, you can define regularly as once a month or once every 6 weeks. I don't think that's regular when you are not in church the majority of the month. Okay? Then again, we hit June. It's summer. Our attendance took a nosedive in the last few weeks. So, interesting. All right? Again, though, why do we talk about this? Why do we put it together? We want to have a view of what we want to have happen in play. We want to understand this. We want to hold this up in front of not only ourselves, but the other people that are in our congregation and say, hey, are we all good with this? Are there going to be people that go, I'm not good with that. I'm only coming once a month. Yeah. Guess what? We've got those people. They come Christmas and Easter. And you know who I'm talking about, right? That person that you only see at Christmas and Easter, right? Maybe you got family in your own household, right? Or in your extended family. The only time you see them in church is when you tell them, you should come with me Christmas, right? That doesn't necessarily fit what we're hoping for, okay? Is it an effort to lead others in the faith development process of trying to get them to come to church? Sure, I think that's good. I think that last one there actually should stay there, because if you're actively trying to bring people along with you, that's going to build up your faith too. And I think that's a good thing. But your thoughts on these first four? Here's the notes I need you to take.
Do we have stats on,
Well, here, actually, I do need you to talk into a mic so that it goes on the recording.
okay,
Go ahead.
do we have statistics on how our congregation is attending? How many are once a year, how many are once a month, how many?
I think we could pull that up. I know attendance-wise, we are somewhere between 250 and 300 every weekend, which is a decent number, which is a good number, actually. Bible study, I told you I wanted 50% of the worshiping attendance in Bible study. There for a while, we were doing really good. We were up around 50%. Now we're down to about a third. This last Faith, Family, and Fun after Easter, we were at about a third rather than 50%. I shared with you in Overflow the health of a congregation, the number one indicator, how many people are involved in Bible study. So right now, we're better than most, but I don't care what the others are doing. I care more about what we're doing. So could that number be better? Yes. Am I thrilled that my Wednesday night crew, Faith, Family, and Fun, said, hey, let's keep going in the summer? Yeah, and I've had 25 or 30 people there each Wednesday. That's been great. That's been great. That did not happen last summer. So a couple of the one of my Bible studies, the Thursday morning one, went away. Saturday is down to a handful of diehards, but we're still going. But when I've got 70 people in here and 7 in there, that's not 50%. So, and then between the 200 between the two services on Sunday, and I've got about 40 in Bible study, and Mark's got about 5. We're not exactly where we need to be. So, other than that, do we have numbers on the folks that are involved in other small groups? There's another small group happening right now in Graceville grounds. I think there was 3-4 people in there. I don't know that there are a ton of other little small groups that are doing that. I know Wings gets a good group of ladies together, and a couple of other groups have some good attendance, but we don't have a ton of others. So getting some of those going might be good. All right. Anybody else? Thoughts on this first one here? Living relationally with God. Yes. Back here. Please speak into the mic for posterity and for YouTube.
We were talking about the attendance at worship, and the church used to have people, I don't know if it was a group of people or if it was a pastor that would go to the homes of people that were still members but didn't attend very regular and try to get them to come back to church. Does the church have anything that we do like that now?
There has been some discussion of that. Who was it? Dave Hale? Is that how you say it? Hale? Dave Hale he brought me the old seminar from Stephen Ministry on closing the back door, reopening the back door, with a program that does that. And I told him, this looks great. Can you find a team? And I haven't heard a ton. I don't want to put that on Dave. I also asked all the Stephen ministers to show up one night when I was first here and said, hey, would you guys be willing to do this? And I got 8 people. So right now we don't have a formal program, but there is movement to try and get one going. I will say this. In my experience as a pastor, which is not 40 years, getting people to come back to your church after they've decided to leave or not go to church is a really, really hard proposition. Really, really hard proposition. Is it worth the time and the effort? I think so. But is it a labor-intensive, time-consuming thing to contact these people, go to their homes, hear from them why they're no longer in church, kind of go, really, that's why you're not in church? Yeah, we missed for 3 weeks and nobody noticed that we were gone. Would you recognize if somebody was gone? If you were in church and didn't see them for 3 weeks? Pastor didn't call when he didn't see us in church. I'm up front leading service, right? Unless you all have assigned seats that I put you in, I'm not going to notice whether you're gone or not. I'm not. Not when we're talking 100 people in each service. I'm not going to. So some of the things are a little tough, and I've heard them all from folks. Is it worth an effort? I think so. Is it worth a great effort? I don't know. I've tried just about every program except this Stephen Ministry one to try and do it over my years of pastoring, and nothing has really worked very well. So maybe that was just because it was me trying to do it, not a group of people. So Pastor Mann's saying no, it's not just me. Okay.
That is the toughest part of the ministry, trying to bring back those who have left.
Yeah. I will also say this. I think that for all the people that go, hey, there's some folks that might come back, they haven't realized that there's probably another 8 people that they didn't realize had already left. That's what I've noticed as a pastor, the ebb and flow of a congregation. People do not stay for 35 years. That's the exception rather than the rule. That's the exception rather than the rule. In my experience, I've had tons of people come in for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 6 weeks, and then drift off. If you actually look at the numbers, there are lots and lots of people that come, but then don't come back. And they might be here for a short time, but they might be there for 2-3 years and then drift off. It's interesting. Ours is a very fluid society with people moving a lot now as well. For some of you that have lived in Monroe your entire lives, you are now the exception rather than the rule in terms of the society of America. I have lived several places in my adult life. That's more the norm than living somewhere 30 years. So some of that is demographic, some of that is just we don't always notice everybody when they come. We notice them after a while, but we don't always notice everyone when they come. I've baptized about 3 adults who were in my church for less than 2 years, but ended up baptizing them. Then they came to me and said, Pastor, my kids want to go to this church over here. Go ahead. It's fine, no problem. And they look at me like, why don't you want us to hear? I'm like, no, if it's better for your family, go over there. That's fine. No big deal. There's one church, just meets in lots of places. And then they drift off. So at least those 3 did. So, all right. Any other thoughts on this first one? Results of living relationally with God. Okay, then I got a question for you. How we doing on this one? Okay, I said we. How are we? Let's think congregationally, not just me individually. Right now, I'm looking out and preaching to the choir. You guys are here almost every week. My board of elders is very faithful in attending. And I've got several of the board members on here. I've got a few of you that I see all the time. But how many people are here? 25, 30? Right? Please notice who's not here. Right? Please notice who's not here. We don't have a single school family here. We have one that just got done, but we don't have a single school family here. We don't have a whole lot of folks that are under my age, right? That's a big deal. It's a big deal. I will point this out. I love how everybody goes, it's time to get the young people involved. We need to get them doing things and making things happen. By young people, do you mean the people with kids? Is that what we mean? Because guess what? They're busy. They're running around after kids, right? Things like that. There's lots of stuff going on in their lives, and almost all of it is designed to conflict with going to church. That's our world. That's our world. Sports, music, dance, all of it, right, is designed to conflict with church. And that is not an easy thing to do. I have had 3 different conversations in the last week about, we don't have time to do confirmation with Pastor Dewar does it. Is there any accommodation that can be made for us? What do you want me to say to that? Sure, we'll do something special for you, and meanwhile everybody else has to do the other program. That's what people want to have said. I'm not very comfortable saying that, especially because it makes more for Pastor Dewar to do. But those are the conversations that I have a ton of. I had one lady one time, different church, Pastor, why do the kids have to do confirmation? Can't they just do the adult confirmation class with you, the 6-week one, and be done? Well, why do we do a 6-week one for the adults? There's really not a lot of opportunity for me to go, hey, let's do a 2-year confirmation class with you adults. How many people would I actually get to join the church if I was running that class? Eek. Accommodations have to be made for certain periods of life, right? But do accommodations need to be made because you make choices to prioritize other things? No. Where do we draw that line? So I'm going to ask the question again, and hear the question. How are we, as a congregation here at Trinity, doing on these 3 things? Not as good as we could. Let's be positive. We'll put a positive construction on this, 8th commandment, right? We want to put a positive construction on it. But could we improve? For sure. For sure. How is a good question. We're trying to start with the ends in mind. I have made Bible study a huge part of what I'm asking everybody to be a part of. Am I going to continue to be doing that? Yes. Can I force people to do this? No. No. But can it grow by word of mouth? I've already had several Bible studies where people have invited people and they've come and then they've stuck around. Those sorts of things need to happen and need to continue happening. But if we want the expectation to be that you're going to be in church more regularly than you would normally, be a part of a small group, either a Bible study or some kind of service group, well, we need to get some service groups going, provide opportunities for that, and then encourage people to read the Bible, do devotions, and watch the Theology in 3, these sorts of things. Those can be the type of thing that can lead to more things. Sometimes baby steps are what are needed. Do we also need some people to take a leap of faith and go, I need to be in Bible study more often? Yes. Do we need people to say, I know it's hard to get the kids to church on Sunday morning, but 10:45, if we start at 6, we should make it. Yes.
How is me going to Bible study going to get your role in the seat? That's what I want to know.
Because you going to Bible study and being filled up with God's Word is going to mean that you end up talking about Jesus with others. As God works in you, He will bring you to a point where you can share Jesus with other people. I've watched it happen in dozens of lives, but I haven't been a pastor that long. So, does it mean that they're going to join the church and become church-going Christians just the same as you and me? No. But what's the goal? The goal is to share Jesus and let the Holy Spirit convert. The goal is not to coerce butts into pews. The moment we try and coerce, butts leave the pews rather than come. Okay? Now, does there also need to be some truth spoken? If you only go to church Christmas and Easter, how are we doing on that commandment, remember the Sabbath day? I don't know that we're doing too good. Christmas only falls on Sunday every once in a while. Easter always does, but Christmas doesn't always. Okay? All right. So, we need to do better here. But does that mean we need to change the goals here? What do you think? Do we need to change what it says here? I don't think so. In fact, again, I kind of see overflow in here, so I kind of like the way this is worded. Might I spruce up the wording to fit overflow? Yeah. Might I spice it up with a little bit more specificity? Yeah. But the bones here are good. Let's move on to the next one. Results in the family. Families pass on the faith from one generation to another as indicated by recognizing that our families belong to God, reinforcing Jesus' example, teaching the discipleship of Jesus, modeling the relationship each individual has with the members of the family of God, the body of Christ. I'm going to ask the same question. What does that mean? Because it's a good Lutheran question. What does that mean? As you hear it, as you look at it, what does that mean? Up here, John. Diane, right here.
Well, sitting here as the exception with 68 years in the same church, because my family was here, my grandma was here, and everybody was here before me, so we passed along the faith from one generation to the other. Am I passing it on to my kids? I'm trying, but my kids don't come to church with me, so obviously there's a break apart at this stage of the game. So I'm recognizing that families belong to God, and when you want to go where your family is and you're comfortable with your family, but I'm not sure what the solution is there. I'm just pointing out, I get what that one says.
Okay, so you like what it says,
I do.
but you're
because
finding a little bit of a disconnect.
my own family, yes.
Okay. What about the rest of you? Voicing the same disconnect?
Yep.
Could it be that kids don't live near to their family as much anymore? I'm going to not repeat what was just said to keep the person from getting flack. Now, I understand this, right? For all of you that have 2 or 3 kids near you, there's another one that's moved away. Some of you have none of your kids near you, right? Things like that. Some of you don't even have kids. Okay, that's fine. I get it. To a certain extent, I know this one is in here because we have a school. We're trying to speak to families and talk to families and whatnot. And so I understand it. I understand it. All of the things here are beneficial, I think. Beneficial to know. But do they make an end? What does this look like? How do you know you've done it? Without going, oh, my kids don't go to church with me. That's the lowest barometer. Do my kids go to church with me? But could your kids also go to another church? Yeah, again, I know I'm weird in that as a pastor, I don't care if people go to my church. I just want them going to church. Right? So if your kids live in a different state, it's hard to help them find a church to go to, things like that, right? And I struggle with this in my own family. My kids haven't moved away yet, but I've got relatives and stuff, right, that I want to be going to church. I can point them towards a church. Doesn't mean they're going to go. And if I'm not there, what do? They live in a different state, right? How do you go about doing that? Again, though, for our church, this focus, I think, is good, but for me, I'm just kind of like, I don't know what reinforcing Jesus' example does in the family. We don't see a ton of Jesus in his family. We see a ton of Jesus with the disciples in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of a nuts and bolts guy. Show me practically, pragmatically how this works. Also, I think it's also hard to say follow Jesus' example, because what does the good Lutheran in us immediately do? I can't do what Jesus does. I am a sinner. I'm not going to screw this up. I'll point this out, that when we do screw it up, it gives us the wonderful opportunity to share forgiveness and grace, which is what Jesus came to show. But am I going to do things the same as Jesus? Probably not. Jesus does not give an example of how to father children. He didn't have any. So I don't know that that's the best thing here. I understand, again, why this is in here. We want to be talking to families. We've got a school, right? That kind of thing. Okay? But maybe it's less about the family and more about sharing our faith with other people. Being less specific that it be the family. If your kids don't live here, how are you going to get them to come here? Threaten them. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea.
I like the word modeling up there,
Sure?
because my kids know we go to church, my kids know I pray, my kids know that, so I'm not gonna give up on that.
Yeah.
They're absorbing it even though they're saying they're.
Yeah. And they know that because they saw you do it when they were around as well. And I get that. I will say this, out of sight, out of mind. I know my parents go to church, and then they tell me all the things they're doing at church, and I'm like, you've never done that much at church. You've never done that much at church in my entire life. They're retired, and they moved to a city where all of their friends are not. So church now is pretty much their life, and it is a drastically different situation than when I was in the house in a different city. So do things change? Yes. Yes. But I would like to suggest that maybe, just maybe in this one, it's not family as much as circle of friends, circle of acquaintances. What can we do to the folks that were actually around to share Jesus with them and to tell them, it'd be great if you came to church with me? Right? That kind of thing, I think, might be a different and a better focus here. Kevin.
Well, the one thing that I see in this one, the first bullet point in the family they define there, it does exist, but the family here at Trinity, we have single people.
Yes.
We have widows. We have widowers. The definition needs to be different to encompass every single member. We did have a class on this from was over at Grace about what the family is. It's a Lutheran Hour Ministry book. But redefinition of the family.
Spiritually vibrant home?
That may be.
Yeah, we're bringing that back next fall.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we need to look at that definition of a family.
When
and
we
build on that.
When we hear the word family, just about everybody has the same idea. My blood relations, right? Our world would love to try and make family a much wider thing. But if we're talking about our circle of influence, the folks that we are around, the folks that we know, the folks that we spend time with, is that much more than just our family? Yeah. If you're in a bowling league and your team is dependent on you showing up because you lower the handicap for them, right? You know, it's really important. But you do that for a couple of years, and what happens? Those people become more than friends and things like that, and there's opportunity there. I will say this, our society in general is more isolated and has less of a circle of friends and circle of acquaintances than previous generations. The 8 houses around your house, do you know the names of everybody who lives in them? it used to be that you knew those, plus the 12 around that, and down the block about 10 houses.
Those because of the kids.
Yeah. But society has changed now. Thank you, 6-foot privacy fences and air conditioning, right? And stranger danger, right? Society has changed now. Are we very likely to know those folks? So some of this is demographic changes in the way in which our society works, but some of it is also just we make the choice to go home and watch TV rather than to go bowling. We make the decision to not join Kiwanis or the Elks or something because we've got 87 episodes of Friends on Netflix that we can watch. Some of that is in there as well. So choices and decisions matter, but finding what group of people are we actually aiming for is maybe the important part of 1.1, well, in the family here. Kathy's got the mic, and then we'll go to Vicki.
So the 1.1.2, I can see broadening that out to friends, but I think if you skip down to 1.1.3, I mean, that's talking about our Trinity family.
Yes.
To me.
Yes.
So I see that. When we talked, or you talked about reinforcing Jesus' example, that seems kind of vague to me.
Sure.
And what I wrote down was show the love of Jesus to your family, could be family and friends. But then when I look down at 1.13, it says demonstrating Christian love to fellow believers. You could almost just plop that up there, replace reinforcing Jesus' example with demonstrating Christian love to your family and friends.
I think there's something there, for sure. I think that's an opportunity there. I actually would encourage us, I would encourage us, well, we'll get to body of Christ. I would encourage us to broaden that one as well. But we'll get there. Vicki.
Is this looking also to fulfill our mission statement? Because family is in the mission statement.
Yeah, strengthening families to, what is it? Tracy, tell me. Say it again. I think it turned off.
In the name of Christ, we will strengthen family.
Strengthen individuals.
Strengthen individuals.
No, equip. In the name of Christ, we will equip individuals to strengthen families to impact the world. Yeah, there we go. Hey, I remembered it. Now, can I just say something? The first time I heard that was showing up for the accreditation day. Nobody told me that when I got here, that was our mission statement. What does that say about our mission statement? It's not generally front and center for us, right? I will also point out I didn't really care that much because I think, again, Matthew 28 is the best mission statement that we've got. I will also point out in Matthew 28, right? Go make disciples, baptizing in the name of, it doesn't say family, it doesn't say church family, it just says you, as you're going in life, talk with people and hopefully lead them to baptism. Do we need to maybe focus that down a little bit as an organization? Sure. Again, for the Monroe community, right? But do we sometimes maybe here focusing it too small rather than wide enough for actual use? I think there's something to that. I would say this, that I think instead of family, I would put something like circle of friends and acquaintances. The people in your life. Recognize that they are gifts from God. Follow Jesus' example as you interact with them, his example of grace and caring. Try and share with them what it means to follow Christ and model a relationship with each of them that hopefully leads them to forgiveness and grace. I mean, there's something there. I just think it needs to be wider than just the family. Just the family. But anybody else? Are we of a general consensus that might be the best thing there? Widen it out a little bit? Okay, all right, good. Anybody final thoughts on then the in the family part before I ask the question I'm going to ask? In the world, sure.
Yeah, 1.1.2, in the world,
Yeah.
we will, okay, I'm not going to say the rest of it, just,
Yeah, I think there's something there. Share the gospel with the people in your life. Be they family, be they friends, be they acquaintance, be they your dental hygienist. Yes. Okay, real quick, let's let you get the microphone.
I think this has taken a turn differently than what is said here because of the age of the group of us that are here. But we do need to realize that parents do have a responsibility with their families.
Oh, for sure.
Our school here was a big help for those of us who were raising our families. And Synod provides lots of materials for family devotions, where if children hear this every day, it really means a lot more to them. And so I don't think we need to not emphasize that as well.
Yeah, but I think where this is going is actually just trying to make us all, the we here, think wider than just a few people. That's what I'm hoping people are taking from this. You guys all know where your white cards are? Yes. You remember them? Yeah. Who are the people in your life that you'd like to be sitting in the pew with you? I haven't talked about them in a while, and that's my fault, but I try and bring it back up every once in a while, just kind of, hey, how we doing on that? If your kids are in Kansas and Virginia and California, they're probably not on your white card to sit next to you. But could we also then focus on trying to help them find a church, encouraging them to go to church, sending Christian materials to our grandkids so that Christ is in their lives and things like that? I wholeheartedly agree with you that yes, we need to take the roles that we've been given seriously. Parents and children, right? I am still the child of my parents even though I'm 47. They are still my parents. And there's something to that. Just because we're both technically adults does not change the fact that if my mother tells me to do something, I need to do it. I might push back if she's trying to run my family, but interestingly, we kind of do what they did, and it's worked out okay. So, I wholeheartedly agree. What I'm saying is, for us, as we're talking about ministry and what we as a congregation are hoping, is that we want everyone to focus on someone to share their faith with. Could it be your kids? Yes. Could it be your dental hygienist? Yes. Could it be the little old lady across the street? Yes. Pass on that faith. Now, I know here, from one generation to the next is in that wording. Every church everywhere goes. We need more young people if the church is going to survive. Every church everywhere says it. I'm going to tell you right now, the church is going to survive. The church is going to survive. One of my old churches is closing down. Is that the end of the world? No, those folks are joining another congregation en masse. They're going to cease to exist independently. But has the church lost anybody in that process? No, not in that case. So I am devastated that they're going to close. That was my first parish. They called me to try and make a go of it. We couldn't do it. It's a little bit, right? But does it, in the grand scheme of the kingdom and the church, is it a bad thing? Actually, no. And that's what I have to keep going back to. So, yes?
So, based on what Mary said, and looking at this a little more, I'm taking back my suggestion to broaden 1.1.2 because that's speaking specifically to the family. But if you keep going down, the next section is your Trinity family, and then the last one is the world, which is really everybody you come in contact with. So I think we've in those three sections all has been addressed.
Okay, okay. Well, then I'm going to ask my final question, and then I'm going to ask on all of these. Get ready. How we doing on this? How we doing on this? We can do better. Best construction, 8th commandment. I like it, yes? Which one do we need to work on more? With God or in the family? Yes. Right? Oh, I think there needs to be work on both. Now, I do want to at this point say that if this is the first time you've seen this paper, right, that's part of the problem. If we don't know what we're working towards, how do you then work towards it, right? Anybody seen that commercial where the foreman of the construction crew comes and he goes, "This doesn't look right." And the guys go, "Well, we built it exactly to spec, but we had to dig down really, really deep." And the guy looks down and he sees this light blinking. And he goes, "Guys, it's a lighthouse, not a well. You needed to flip the plans and build up." Right? You got a plan, but you read it wrong, or you're going to do it wrong. If there isn't a plan, or you don't know the plan, and I tell you do this, are you going to be able to do it? No. Now, I don't fault anybody for that. I don't fault anybody for that. I will share with you the honest truth as a pastor and as a circuit visitor. Churches spend a ton of time talking about what to do and use up all the energy they've got talking about what to do rather than just do it. I hope you're hearing from me a little bit of, right, we need a plan for our congregation, but does it need to be 87 pages with all sorts of bullet points and a gazillion? Again, as long as I am here, we will never change the mission statement. It's going to stay whichever that one is, right? Equipping individuals to strengthen families to impact the world. It's a horrible mission statement. Whoever gave you that one is horrible. It's a terrible mission statement. Anyway, we're not going to change it. But I might just go, hey, Matthew 28's better. Let's use it. Does it fit this? Go, make disciples. Baptizing, teaching. I think it fits some of this. At the same point, though, I am not the person that's going to trot out the mission statement every Sunday and make you say something back to me, right? We're not going to do that. Because if we're so focused on that one sentence, what does it look like for each of you? Matthew 28, Jesus says to his disciples, did they all do it differently? Yes. Can each of us do it differently? Yes. Can we together, though, agree to try and do it when we're working together in a certain way that we think will produce the most results and make the best use of our talents and resources? I think we can. And that's part of what we're trying to do here. All right. Next one then. In the body of Christ. Members of Trinity will relate to one another as members of the family of God as indicated by participating in ministry activities for the sake of strengthening relationship with fellow believers, demonstrating Christian love to fellow believers, encouraging individuals to grow in their unique role in the church, realizing God's desire for all people to know life in Jesus. Okay. All right. What does this mean?
It means we're failing miserably.
Why do you say that, Greg? He said we're failing miserably. Give him the mic so he can give his reasoning.
I said we're failing miserably.
Why would you say that?
Very first sentence. Members of Trinity. Who are they?
There's a few people here.
There's some of us.
Yeah.
How many are there in total?
I think on the current list, on the current list of members, there's like 1,200, but there are about 500 to 600 that come regularly, which means about 50% of the roles don't come regularly.
Drop the mic.
Okay. All right. But now we also average about 200 to 300 a weekend, which means we're only getting about half of the ones that attend regularly. So, okay, all right. Well, let me ask this question. This is very focused on relationships with other church members. Very focused on that. Would you agree?
Yes, that is the body of Christ.
Yes. Now, let me ask this question. Do you go to church here, or are you a part of the church here?
Part of the church.
I'm going to guess that just about everybody here, and as I say, do you go to church here, or are you part of the church here? You all are going to say part of the church here because you're very active. For the folks that are not here, what do you think they say? Go to church here or part of the church here? So some of that is, I need to get people to see themselves as part of what's happening here, not just, this is the place that you come on Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning, right? Because the church is not the gym. You can go to the gym, feel free, right? Guess what? If you have a workout partner, you're more likely to go, you're more likely to achieve your goals, and you're more likely to maintain that. It's just true of anything that you are doing. If you do it with somebody else, you're more likely to stick with it, do more of it, and accomplish more in it. You all know that because you can look around a room and go, you know everybody's name here. On Sunday morning, when you look around, do you know everybody's name there? I don't. Not yet. I'm still trying. But that idea of the body of Christ, there's a connection there rather than just we go to church together. Because you could probably say that you can say that about 500 people, but do you know those 500 people? Now, is it also possible to know all those 500 people? No, this is where fellowship from Overflow comes in. You need Christians that you do life together with. Hopefully it's your family, but are there also times in your life where your family's not around? Do you need then other people that you're doing life with? This is what Wings does for some of you ladies. This is what Bible studies do for others. Unfortunately, very often a group at church ends up being a circle of friends rather than an open to other people joining. Does that make sense? And so the group ends up becoming insular, and as people move or whatever, the group just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Does that describe any church, any groups here at Trinity? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So we need to work on that a little bit. I don't see anything wrong with this. The scriptures do talk about you share the love of God and you start with the church. You start with the church. Then you go out. I think that is an important part of this. If you're going to invite somebody to this church, do you need to care about and love not just this place, but the people here? Yeah. That's important. Fellowship is one of the things that the modern church in America struggles with the most. What do we generally mean by fellowship? Do you remember Overflow? Food! Let's have a potluck and then everybody will come. What happens when you have a potluck? The same people show up and they always bring the same dish because pastor said he liked it once 25 years ago. That was 3 pastors ago, but they still bring that same dish. It is still good. But might we want to notice that a few people aren't there and figure out maybe a different way to try and do fellowship? I think so. I would point out that there is no better thing for fellowship than the Word of God. Studying the Word of God together is the thing that creates the most fellowship. And that's why, again, Bible studies for me are a huge, huge deal. But I forgot to ask this about the family one. It's sounding like, though, that we want to kind of keep the family one, and the body of Christ one is decent here. We're not, again, might we want to be a little bit more specific about some of this stuff? Really try and define it out and put some flesh to it. But in all honesty, do we want people to care about each other here because they know each other? Yeah, for sure. Let me tell you this. Research shows that every church is welcoming. Every church is welcoming. They will welcome you. They will say, "Oh, we're so glad you're here." But then do they care about you while you're there? Not every church pulls that one off. The churches that do, generally people who just walk in off the street end up staying. But then they also have a more robust evangelism because people really care. Now, can it go too far to where I only care about these people and I don't care about other folks? Yes. These are the churches that the neighborhood changed around them, and they move because the neighborhood changed, rather than change with the neighborhood around them. Okay? Fellowship matters. It is an important part of the church. Do I believe that here at Trinity we need more fellowship? Yes. Does that mean we need more food? By God, no. No. If we have food at everything, I am going to be 500 pounds. We've got to find something else that we can do together without food. Or at least less food. Okay? Beer tent I'm okay with. All right? But if you take my meaning, we do need to work on fellowship. We do need to work on this. So, all right. Last one. In the world, members of Trinity will share the gospel with those in the neighborhood and beyond. I'm going to stop right there. Share the gospel with those in the neighborhood. Deb. There you go. Go ahead.
I just want to say, putting it in perspective, when these were written, we were not a welcoming church.
Oh, good.
We were at odds.
Okay.
This church has totally changed in that period of time.
Cool.
I wouldn't have said we were a body of Christ together.
Oh, cool.
So perhaps it can be changed because it's improved. I would hope so. I feel the same way about family.
Okay.
It should be families. I think that's what we were supporting.
Okay.
We had financial classes for families and parenting classes for families.
Let me guess. COVID killed it. A lot of it.
Well, part of it.
Some of those programs. Okay.
But it was the family unit relationship that I think we're talking about, not just my personal family.
Okay. Thank you for your perspective. I hope I'm not coming across as being derogatory toward your church. I'm just saying right now, I think we can do this better. If there's already been improvement in this, then praise God. That's wonderful. I was not here for it. So I'm not trying to be derogatory towards Trinity at all. I'm just saying right now, today, is there room for improvement? I believe so. Some concerted effort in the right way, in the right places, does some things and has improved things. Could it do it again for us as we shift gears a little bit and maybe do it a little bit differently because times have changed and the situation has changed? Yeah, thank you, Deb, for the perspective. That's wonderful. Thank you. But I'm going to go back to my question here, right? Members of Trinity will share the gospel with those in the neighborhood. What neighborhood are we talking about?
I believe we're talking about the church, not outside, but right in here.
Okay, all right. I'm hearing some people say the neighborhood we're in, the neighborhood the church is in. I heard somebody just say it talking about us. The neighborhood is us rather than across Scott Street and across 3rd and 4th and Wadsworth. I will point this out. I've been here a year. I have not heard anybody say anything about the neighborhood we're in positive. I have not. I have also not heard anyone say we need to do something for this neighborhood. We've been here at 3rd and Scott since 1844. The neighborhood, I think, is a little different than it once was. It's going to happen in 100 and something years worth of existence. But honestly, the neighborhood that we're in is a tough neighborhood. And there is opportunity there, but is there also challenge? Yes. I drive down 3rd Street to go home all the time, right? There's the corner where the drug deal is going on. I know. So does the Monroe Police. So, I know. But it is interesting that in over a year I haven't heard anybody say anything positive about the neighborhood we're in. It has always been negative. Now, that has not been a daily occurrence. Please don't hear me saying that. But the dozen or so times that I've brought up the neighborhood, right? When I first got here, Pastor, make sure to lock the doors on your car because of the neighborhood we're in. Now, I understand that's a caring and loving thing to tell me because of the neighborhood we're in. But that's, yeah, it's a little rough. It's a little rough. So, go ahead, Kevin.
Well, when this was defined, our neighborhood was defined as the 10 blocks around this church.
Okay.
And we had picnics and fairs that we invited this neighborhood to.
Mm-hmm.
And like again, COVID killed so much.
Okay.
Yeah, we did have.
I think I've seen that paperwork, the block parties and, yeah, okay.
I can't remember exactly what was done, but I know invitations were hung on doorknobs telling them to come to the picnic, and they were welcomed here, and food was provided.
Yeah.
And we baked cookies, and we had games for the children, and so we did include the neighborhood at one time, and it wasn't COVID that killed it. It was several years ago.
Okay.
But I think it was pretty successful.
Okay. Well, let me ask this question. Any neighborhood families in the church now because of that effort? Maybe? Okay.
They maybe were successful events, but I don't believe that we connected with people in any kind of permanent fashion and made them part of our Trinity family.
Okay.
So to me, that's not what we're looking for here.
I know some folks that live in the neighborhood that go to church here, but they've always talked about that they've lived in this neighborhood their entire lives. So that's what that's my perspective on it, is the little bit that I've heard from people and heard, whatnot. Now, again though, by our evaluation that I set up, right? Doing something good for somebody is good. Making friends, better. Having a chance to make a disciple, best. I'm not discounting those efforts. I just want to make sure that we are then aiming at what we need to aim at. Trying to make disciples. That is first and foremost in my mind as what the church needs to be doing. Can a lot of programs do that? Yes. I will also say this. I've got friends, fellow pastors that run Franklin Avenue Mission in Flint, Family of God down in Detroit, any number of things. And what they say about working in an underserved or underprivileged area is that it takes a whole lot more than most churches are able to do. Just for example, Oaks down here. They've tried to do a wonderful thing for this community for many, many years, but unfortunately, lots and lots of problems, but also just the sheer amount of money. The Oaks pastor and one of the board members came and talked to the elders. They need, the government gives them $300,000 to do what they do, which is wonderful. Take the government's money, use it for good. But they need another $300,000 just to stay afloat. They're looking at, and I'm going, I don't have $50,000 to give you. Like every church in Monroe would have to chip in to cover that, and that's a ton of money. Every year, to provide the services that they provide. So some of that is some of the services and things and the needs that certain places have need a whole lot more than a single church can do. And so again, I don't want you to hear me saying, oh, you shouldn't have done that, or it wasn't fruitful, or anything. But reality very often is it takes an awful lot. It takes an awful lot. So do I think that we should be looking at the neighborhood we're in? You bet. That's where God's put us. I think we need to look at the neighborhood. But do we need to be clear-eyed and have a level of discernment on what we can do, for sure. Now, I've also noticed here at Trinity that there's lots of opportunities to do things outside of Monroe. We've got, I have heard again and again and again about Appalachia, about Alaska, about Los Limones. We had House of Hope from Madagascar that was here. I'm forgetting one. Most ministries, yes. Yes. There's lots and lots of opportunities outside of Monroe for things to be done and partnerships to be had and ministry to be done. That also is in here. That's part of the world. That's part of the world. So maybe right now ours is not the position to be able to do something major for the neighborhood. But do we also need to view the neighborhood as a possible mission and ministry site? I think we do. And as of right now, I have not heard that the congregation does, which I don't think is good. But are there plenty of opportunities for other mission and ministry that can happen? Yes, and partnerships that we can have. So, Kim.
I just wanted to make a comment about the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It would be, I think, ideal at some point to be able to market to the neighborhood, meaning include them in the family fund, at least an invitation, something in the mailer. You can get mailers for the surrounding area. I don't know what's in our budget for doing something like that, but with the kids that are here and some of them that come to the playground and after, at least it would be an invite to some families that are around and maybe looking for something. I don't know, but
okay.
I think we could certainly offer that.
Sure. Okay, pause right there. Who, as she was talking, said to themselves, maybe it was just me, yeah, but they broke our basketball hoop. Good. That's just me then. Okay. Right, good. All right. Serving in a community that is a little more rough and tumble is a little bit different than most churches are used to or have an opportunity to do. Do I think that we do need to reach out to these people in lots of ways? Yeah, and an Easter and Christmas invite probably is the bare minimum of what we need to be doing. But then other opportunities to help out. At the same point, there is a ministry that happens on campus that is pretty well attended by folks from throughout the Monroe community that we barely do anything with. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Community of Needs meal on Sunday night. That is I think a very, very important thing that needs to continue to happen, but this congregation has not embraced it here of late, and that's a problem. Kim?
I think it would be, I think we're missing an opportunity with that. We've been approached on the playground before by some people who are talking about the meal or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a meal that happens every night of the week somewhere in this county.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could do a better job even having something printed or have it go out to the neighborhood. I don't really know, but I just think people need to know, and maybe they do know, but a lot of people don't realize, it could be helpful.
I think it's well known in the community because I've heard about it from other people in the community. I think here at Trinity we need to embrace it and say this is a wonderful opportunity for us to serve folks that are around us in a way that we aren't right now. Denise had her hand up here. Go ahead, if you would. For posterity, please.
You have such a beautiful voice.
Hey, no hitting your husband in church.
So I'm going to start with, we can't do the 300,000. I get that.
Yeah.
But shouldn't we be able to do what we can do?
Yes, I do. I believe so.
And to what Kim said, it isn't getting the people to come because they sometimes serve 120 people.
Mm-hmm.
And Naomi Kuhn is a one-woman show.
Yeah, with a
It's
handful of
getting
people.
to help her.
Yes.
To be able to provide for the people who need it.
Yes, and she doesn't miss a Sunday.
Never.
Yeah, she shows up and makes sure that it happens, come hell or high water.
When she signed up for the spaghetti dinner last Sunday or yesterday when I was standing there. Yes, and I said, well, you won't even be leaving the building that day.
The plan is...
She will be here at church, she will be here for the spaghetti dinner,
Yeah.
and she will be here to fix dinner for 125 people.
The plan is actually to give Naomi the night off, and the youth are going to hopefully do... they're planning on doing
That
community
would
needs
be
meal.
amazing.
Yes, they're planning on doing community needs meal. That's that. At the very least, cooking it so that she doesn't have to, and it's there for them. So
She has asked for volunteers repeatedly to help set up tables,
Yeah.
help set up chairs,
Yeah.
take them down. My husband goes almost as religiously every Sunday. I do not have the leg power to do it anymore, or I would be there too.
yeah,
But he is there every Sunday helping. And at 81, I don't think he should be setting up tables and chairs anymore.
I don't either.
Surely we have someone here who can help.
I think we can do some of that. Now, I will say this: I did put out a thing for a chair crew, and I got 2 people.
It's a start.
2. So, yeah. But if you see what I'm saying, are there opportunities for us to do ministry in our neighborhood, in our community, and in the world? Well, they're in front of us. I think we need to pick and kind of go, hey, this is what we're doing. Don.
Well, the board has talked for a long time about the Sunday night meals, and everybody, I think, pretty well agrees that it's a good thing. But the bottom line came to the security and the possibilities and the few events that we've had where undesirables are either in the church or in the school, and we felt, I think at least I did as a board member, that our responsibility was to look for the safety of the children in the school, where there's been so many things, and that's probably a big problem because of the way our facilities are laid out. So I don't
Yeah.
think it's necessarily that we don't want to feed people in that, but you're getting to a point where we didn't want a disaster to happen, and there were a number of incidents that could have led to disaster.
Since I've been there, hasn't been an incident. So the cops have been called a couple of times, but we're 2 blocks from the cops. We hear it every time the cops are called. The sirens go by. So yes, do we need to make sure that people aren't getting in the rest of the building and things like that? Ron does a pretty good job of doing that, and he's scary. So. Ron. I'm not going to mess with Ron. I'm going to do whatever Ron tells me to do. I know he is, but I'm still going to do what he tells me to.
It's like they have said, we've had some incidents. Matter of fact, there was a couple times when somebody had gotten into the building and they had taken some packages and so forth. We didn't find this out till later.
Yeah.
But we got that all straightened out. We talked to these people. These people are human beings. Some of them have a lot of issues going on, and that what we try to tell them, look, Trinity is allowing us to use this building, and we have to respect it.
Yeah.
And that's something we talk every Sunday to them about, respecting this building.
Yeah. I think showing them a little bit more respect will get more respect back. I think there's an opportunity there. So, all right. Some thoughts on the in the world part here. We've kind of talked through it. We probably need to do more with our neighborhood. There's a wonderful opportunity in the Sunday night meal that could really help out not just our neighborhood, but the whole Monroe community. Do we need more people involved with that? Yes. Are there also plenty of other opportunities for us to be involved in helping the church throughout our community and throughout the world? Yes. I'll tell you right now, I sent out emails today to about 15 pastors in the area. I finally feel like I got my sea legs under me here, and I'm like, okay, I need to meet a few more of the pastors around, not just the Lutheran guys, but a few more of the non-Lutheran guys, talk with them about ministry, about being in Monroe, about what they're doing, and then look for ways for us to partner. I'm going to be doing that. So are there even more opportunities that could come up from this? For sure. But we've also got, most of them I approached because they've got 5, 6, 7 kids here at Trinity in the school. So there's a natural partnership already. What might we be able to do, and how might we be able to work with that, and what would that look like? So, and I've shared this before. I think that Trinity Lutheran School, I shared it last week, right? If we added another 10 kids, we're at capacity. It's like 10, 15 kids. Most of the classrooms are full. One of them is completely full. Most of them could take 1 or 2 kids. Okay, what happens if all of a sudden school vouchers come? What do we do? Well, we need to think about that, because there would be an influx of kids that would want to come here, and to say we don't have room is not an option. Let's make sure that there's an option. So conversation with Zion down the way, Grace over there that's got classrooms, Holy Ghost, maybe even St. John's Waltz. What do we do? They're in our circuit. What do we do to try and be ready for what is probably coming, and school vouchers that allow kids to go wherever they want rather than where they are told? We need to have some semblance of an idea of how we'd handle that. That's another partnership. That's another way in which the ministry can be expanded in meaningful ways. So there's opportunities there. All right. Any thoughts about this world one? All right. Vicki, over here, Vicki. I'm sorry that we have to wait for the mic, but for the folks that are watching this, it's best that they hear you. So sorry, but not sorry.
Okay. This isn't just about the world, but it's highlighted. The very last bullet point has a Bible verse, Acts 1:8. I think all of these bullet points should point to a Bible verse.
Okay.
You know, you've highlighted Matthew 28. So on making disciples, that should be noted here. I think that is helpful for people to see. You know, we are in God's Word when we're making this out.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
And then I just wanted to say one thing about Oaks, because I think maybe not everybody knows, and I could not have it 100% right myself, but the only thing that is closed down is the housing, the overnight housing. Their program is still running. We took, I don't know, a few hundred jars of peanut butter and jelly to them. So those programs are still running. It's just the overnight stay. I mean, they still have church. Some of the people that come to the Community of Needs meal go to church there. And speaking of that, because I volunteered there a few times at the Community of Needs meal, the people that come to those meals, they know where the meals are. You know, but I brought that up too, that it should be posted at Trinity. Because if there's somebody new to those meals, and they're not in a facility in the area, they wouldn't know. But
Well, I would also say this: GodWorks, the nonprofit that runs the meals throughout the city, is all volunteers, and they don't have anybody full time. It's all volunteers, and they have the natural things that happen when it's all volunteers. Things fall through the cracks. Communication about where everything is. They've told me 3 times where it is, but they've yet to hand me a flyer. Here's where it is. Could we come alongside GodWorks and go, here's 1,000 flyers for you to give to all over the place to hang up? And yes, we could. And those are small things, but it's meaningful partnership.
And I think part of that, like you said, communication about that, but communication about all of this.
Yes.
You know, because, yes, Naomi could use volunteers. I mean, the times that I was there and Steve and I were there, she had enough workers, but communication within our congregation. not just for that meal, but for everything.
For sure.
You know, and no matter what organization you're involved in, communication is always a problem.
Yeah, because I don't know what you don't know, but I know what I know, and yeah, it doesn't always work the best. All right, a couple of things then. The next one there, the recipients. The aim of the ministry of Trinity Lutheran will include the following in this order of priority: churched and unchurched and dechurched people of the Monroe area, members of Trinity Lutheran, and, as God leads us, individuals and congregations from around the community, nation, and world. I'm sorry. What do we run here for the unchurched and dechurched? Does anybody know what dechurched means? They were in the church, now they're not. Somewhere in the church, one of the churches in the area, that kind of stuff, right? The unchurched, those are folks that just don't go to church. I don't know why the church has started using these words, unchurched and dechurched. It's non-believers and folks that have left the church. So, are there things that are happening here directly focused at that? Not a lot. This says it's our first priority. I think that says a little bit of something about what we're talking about. And so I think if we're going to keep this, we need to keep that in front of us, as Vicki just said. It needs to be communicated often that we exist to find folks that don't go to church and try and get them in church. Try and bring them in, invite them, do what we can to help them become a member of a church. I would say anywhere. If you want to put here at Trinity, that's fine. I don't care. Again, the church is what I'm worried about, not necessarily just our church. So, I will say this. We never need to put ourselves in anything because we're naturally going to do it in our sinful selfishness. But the way we've done it so far, I think, is important, and I know why they put it in here, because we are focusing on the families of our church, the body of Christ, which is each other, right? I understand why it's there. I just would like to highlight, we naturally do that. Every church takes care of itself. Every church. I like the idea of making sure that it's the folks outside the church are the focus. So, Greg's shaking his head no.
We're still not taking care of people that are considered members, but they're not here.
Who's that?
Why are they not here?
Yeah. That 600 people that are on the rolls, 200 of them live out of state.
Then take them off.
Then they call in and yell at my secretaries. Because somehow it's important that they're members here. They don't go here, but they want to be members here. They don't get envelopes, and we don't send them the weekly newsletter, but they're still on the rolls. You guys, you all don't understand. The membership rolls for a church are one of the most delicate things that a church has to deal with, and 9 times out of 10, it is I'll put it this way, I don't want to deal with it. I have sent out letters and done things at previous churches. Hey, we'd really love to make sure you've got a church home. I do have a church home. It's Trinity. You live in California. Yes, but my church home is Trinity. What church do you go to now? Oh, I don't go to church. Right? 9 times out of 10, it's a total matter of semantics. And if you know anything about a pastor does not want to spend a whole lot of time dealing with semantics. I don't want to debate with you whether you're a member of the church or not. I generally end the call with saying, we'll send you envelopes, to which we do. That box is mailable. You can put a thing on there, stop a stamp on there, close it down, and send it off. I send it off to dozens of people in my time as a pastor, and none of them come back. So, I generally say then, let's not spend the postage. It's expensive. All right. Yes. How do I fix that?
Okay, because personally in the last 2 months, I've had 2 opportunities.
To
members who don't come to church.
Okay.
Saturday was one of them. She came up to me at an event we were at. Oh my gosh, I miss you and Ron so much. I miss Trinity, blah, 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 blah. She was born and raised here at Trinity.
Okay?
I'm uncomfortable. Then come sit with me. Oh, we will. No, I mean it. Come sit with me. You can come sit with Ron and I. I don't know what else to say.
You
We
did
need you. We need you. We want you to come. Come sit with me.
Here's the deal. You handled it perfectly. Invite them to come sit with you. Inviting a de-churched person is the same as inviting a non-believer. You do the same thing. But you have to be cognizant of the fact that they were at one point a church member either here or somewhere else. Are there a lot of people in our world that are hurt by the church and who leave because they are angry, leave because they're hurt, leave because they're scared, different things? Yes. There are. When I come across them, I'm sorry, please forgive us. And what can I do to make it better? What can I do to help you? I can't offer to let them sit with me. I'm up front. But I do generally offer my wife and kids. They don't want to sit with my kids. But anyway, well, you keep thinking that. You did exactly what you're supposed to. Just invite them. Now, I would also then say follow up. Generally, where our efforts to invite people to church fail is in follow up. So give them a call.
Say this. I have heard my husband, who I don't often toot his horn, but I'm going to now.
Good. This will make up for you hitting him earlier.
He has a couple that he has called religiously.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even return his phone calls.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me also put it this way.
I don't know why they, well.
Yeah. Let me also put it this way. When Jesus sent the 12 and the 70 out, he said, go to the towns that will receive you. And if they won't receive you, wipe the dust off your feet and move on. I think sometimes we need to move on. I think there is something prescriptive about that instruction because it was literally given to the disciples. It's not a descriptive thing, it's prescriptive. There are plenty of times where we try for way too hard and way too long on one person when there's another 5 we could be focusing on. And that's often true. I don't want to not reach out to former members and things like that. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I have been told, and Kathy will back me up on this, make sure that I'm spending my effort where it's going to get the most return and don't get burnt out. Right, Kathy? Yes. That's the board president, everybody. Kathy DeBurn. Round of applause, please. Thank you. Yes. De-church folks that are no longer here at Trinity, they have a reason why they're no longer at Trinity. If when I meet them and talk them through the entire thing, they still say, I can't come back, this is what I tell them. Go to another congregation. Do you know where grace is? Do you know where Holy Ghost is? Well, I don't know that I could go to a Lutheran church. There are 6 spires near us. Pick one. Head towards it. Walk in. Please go to church. Is it then up to them to make a move? Yeah. But I will say this. You all are thinking of somebody that doesn't come to Trinity anymore that you wish did. I want you to call them. I want you to talk with them. I want you to invite them. Do something. Put them on your white card. Follow the process. But when it doesn't work, I'm not going to say I told you so, but I am going to say you probably have a better opportunity with someone who doesn't go to church already. Does that make sense? Starting a new ministry is easier than tweaking an old. It's the same thing with members. Finding a new member is a lot easier than bringing back an old. That's when there's a lot of baggage, sometimes it doesn't all fit through the door. We got big wide doors, and they're open, but it doesn't mean that everybody's going to walk in. Sometimes we need to, and I don't want to, The connotation of, shake the dust off your feet is pretty negative in the way in which we do this. I don't think Jesus was being so negative in that as much as saying, move on. There are others. There are more villages to go to. There are more people you can speak to. Sometimes discernment, the prayer is not, what more can I do, but rather, Lord, who now do I go to? So, all right. Now, anybody notice, go to the next slide here. Cost. This one is, we're going to be good stewards of our resources, right, and everything. I'd like to point out, this is interesting to me, that for the first time the school is mentioned specifically in this is in this cost thing, 1.3.2. We will strive to achieve and maintain a school funding model where tuition and other special school funds shall cover at a minimum the operating costs of the day school. The school is the largest ministry of this place. It's not in here. It should be in here. That's why I'm doing desired goals for the school. We spent some time talking. We had a few parents. We had some church members. We had the faculty. Most of the faculty was here. The teaching staff was here. We're working on that one. It's going to be a part of this. And it's going to be a part of what we need to be doing, because it is 177 years of ministry and effort and resources. But it's interesting to me that the school's not in here until cost. Now, I understand that it's in there with the families and stuff. If we read between the lines, can we find it? Yes. But I will also point this out. 40% of the kids in our school do not have a church home. 40% of the kids. If that is not a mission field for our congregation, I don't know what is. Now, somebody's going to say, every school's got that. Nobody's got a good option on how to get those people into the church. I'm going to say, let's get creative. Let's do what we can. Let's do what we can. Also, I'm going to take a very different attitude. The church I was at formerly in Wyandotte, they had a school for over 130 years. It closed 10, 15 years before I got there. Okay? I can't tell you how many people said, we could never get them to get their butts in the pews. And I said, maybe that's the reason why. You simply wanted them to join your church rather than be the church to them and let them find a place within the church, even if it's not here. That was my experience at that former church. Here, I haven't heard, why don't these people go to church here? They bring their kids here. I haven't heard that. Heard that all the time at my previous congregation. Here, it's, we'd love for them to come and be a part. Okay, how are we communicating that to them? What are we doing that actually communicates that desire to those families? I can tell you right now, it needs to be more than, we'd love to have your kids come sing. Because if you notice what happens when the kids come and sing, the parents hold up their phone and it's a performance. It's not a part of worship for them. And I get it. They're not used to it. They're not used to it. Thankfully, they're all very kind and don't get up and leave as soon as the kids have sung. Some do, but not all. But many of them stick around and have a good time. But if that's all that we've got, again, we need more. There needs to be another avenue, probably several. We probably need some programming around our school that meet the needs of those families and the families of our own, that are our own members, plus the members of other congregations. Every family needs help, especially when there's 4 of them. They outnumber you. And then they grow, and one of them gets taller than you, and it's just annoying. And then they move out and come back, and it's terrible. Every family needs help. We could probably come across and help them, don't you think? I think we can. So, that's the question. We need to put school in here somehow. Where do you see it fit? I think the family part, for sure. I think the world, we could probably put in there. We need to reach out in compassion to our neighbors and to school families. I think there's something there. Dennis?
1.0, the desired outcome of Trinity Lutheran should add school in there.
Yeah, Trinity Lutheran Church and school. Sure. Yeah.
And then results, numbers of Trinity Lutheran and school.
Church and school, yeah.
Trinity is mentioned.
Yeah. I think there's opportunity there. I'm just pointing out that it wasn't in there, which does strike me because the school is extremely important to our congregation in many, many ways, and it should be. But it was striking to me in looking at this that the school doesn't show up and tell. They better pay for themselves. So, kind of interesting to me. All right. Okay. Yes. Linda.
Thank you. You were mentioning when we were at the meeting last week about we need to, like, how do I want to say, minister to the entire family. And we try and do that with that God's littlest blessing.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be other things.
Yes.
I also sit there and I think 40% of our school, those people are willing, well, not willing, but they are doing it, spending $4,700 a year to get their kids here.
Yeah.
And what, have we ever asked them, what is it about us?
Why
and
they're
why
sitting?
are you here?
Yeah.
Do you see the value? Well, obviously they see the value. I really wouldn't do it. I mean, sometimes I guess it's maybe a locational thing or whatever. If your kid was bullied at another school or something. But
I bet you if we asked
talked
Tracy,
with
she
them?
could give us a pretty good ballpark on most of that.
Okay.
I would guess that there are plenty of people there that are here for the academics, that they're good. I think there's plenty of people here to not be in the public schools. I think there's probably also a bunch of people here that are looking to save a few bucks, but their kids are still going to go to Central Catholic, right? I think there's probably some folks that are here that their family has just always sent their kids here, but they have never in a million years considered going to church here. I think that there's probably another 15 reasons. Here's what I find in my interaction with most of these folks, and even with some of the other folks, the other 60%, the people that go to church here, the 30% that go to another church. Interestingly, there is a highly transactional nature to most of our kids coming here. What do I mean by that? They are paying for their kid to have a great experience, learn a lot, not require a whole lot of them. They are looking to get what they're paying for. I would say that the majority of parents that send their kids here are looking to get what they pay for. It is a transactional thing rather than anything else. There are a few people that send them here because it's the good Lutheran education, but that number is smaller than you think. But most of them are. And how do I know this? Because every time it ends up on my desk, something that's happened at the school, we have a problem. And almost always it's, I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying to have this problem. I'm not paying for this silly rule that you think is important. I don't send my kid here with the idea that you're going to somehow do whatever in this situation to try and make them a stronger human being and a better person and any number of things. I'm paying to not have these problems. Now that's happened 3 or 4 times in the time that I've been here. But that came across very, very strongly. Very, very strongly from each of those situations. Now part of that is the adversarial nature of it. They don't like what we're telling them. And they're going, it's a power play. They're trying to tell me that they pay my salary, which they don't. They don't. Your $4,700 doesn't cover me. There is a highly transactional nature to it. That has been eye-opening to me the amount of how transactional it is. That's probably the majority of parents. Now, is it always transactional? No. I think sometimes it starts out transactional and then relationships change it to something else. Where they really, really care about the teachers, they really, really care about the kids in the class and the other families that are part of that. For those folks that find connection beyond, I'm paying for my kid to go here, either with the teachers or with the fellow parents or somebody, right? It actually becomes a very powerful thing. And that's what I want to leverage. I want to try and get more parents and more church members in the school so that we can leverage that. Getting to be friends and not just viewing your kid's teacher as the person who's supposed to give them an A because they showed up. But if they get to know that teacher, get to know the aide, get to know some of the parents, get to know a couple congregational members and things like that, I think there's a much better opportunity for some powerful things to happen. Relationships matter, and it's a big, big deal. Some of the families want absolutely no relationships. I had one mom, when I first started, and I was, saying hi or whatever as the kids were getting picked up or blah, 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 or just around for stuff. She did everything she could to avoid me. But as I was collecting names at pickup, now she tells me about her online business and how many orders she did and all this stuff, and I talk to her twice a week. But that relationship has been built to where it is interesting, where it has gone in a very short amount of time. I don't know where it's going to go, but I do know that she's one of the parents that doesn't go to church and her kid doesn't go to church. So I don't know if I can leverage that into them coming here, but if it happens, cool. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. So I say all of that. That's a long answer to your question, but I say all of that to just really try and help us understand that the school is in a different place than when your kids went here. When 70% of the kids went to Trinity, and they went to Trinity because it was Lutheran, and a good education, and all their friends went there, we are in a very different spot. And so that requires a different approach. And I think that there is ample opportunity there for our congregation to really minister to those families in a very real way, and try and get them into the church. I got no problem if we got a couple of teachers that don't go to church here, right? They're Baptist. If somebody in their classroom ends up going to church at their church, I'm thrilled. I count that as a win for us. I think that's a win. I really do. I know some people are kind of like, what? They're not Lutheran. I understand. But again, I'm just being honest. My goal is not necessarily to make them members here, but members of the church. So, if they come to me and say, hey, I'd like to be a member of the church, I am going to say to them, hey, you're talking about here, right? Like here. Yeah, okay, we're good. I had somebody handed me a note today. They wanted to get them and their kids baptized before the school year starts. Okay, we'll get her done. Let's make it happen. So we'll get it done. I hope she's not doing it hoping for a tuition break, but that's okay. Hey, I'm Lutheran because of the tuition break. I'm all right. We can't do it, but I'm okay with it. So, all right. Any final thoughts? Any final thoughts that you have here? Go, click ahead a little bit here. Keep going. One more. All right. Oh, I don't know why that's up there. Go to the next one. Is that the next one? Okay, go to the next one. All right, there we go. All right, any final thoughts on desired outcomes here? I know we haven't labeled them out or anything, but what I am hearing is that we want to keep these, make them a little bit more specific, tweak them just a little bit, and And but then also keep them in front of us to do them. Yeah. Yes.
As you said, relationships are important. We do talk about in the first one our relationship with God. I think all of them should point out the different relationships that we need to develop.
Sure. Sure.
That's how all this is going to work, is
Yes.
developing those relationships.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, developing the relationships, one to another, right? That probably means less TV. The average American spends 6 to 8 hours in front of the TV. If you add in the phone, it's more like 10. And for some of the younger generations, the TV is the 2 and the phone is the 8. Does that make sense? Right? Some of these things we need to, there are choices that need to be made about things, and that kind of thing. But being willing to drive over to church to do something for the school and the school families is going to be important. Being willing to go over to a friend's house for coffee and to pray is going to be important. If you can't physically do it, that Zoom stuff that we all hated from COVID still works. I do lots of meetings on Zoom, and it's wonderful. I don't have to drive to Lansing. I don't have to drive to Ann Arbor, right? Those sorts of things. There are opportunities, and we can leverage certain things that are available to us. So, all right, timeline then for the ministry plan. Denise asks a wonderful question. How are we going to implement this? That is the next step after we have the ministry plan. What we're going to put before the voters in September is a ministry plan that we will vote on. We will have some town hall meetings in August, maybe end of July, to kind of put this all together. And really what it comes down to is these desired outcomes. The ministry plan is, this is what we want to get done. We're then going to take next school year to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to get it done. What's it going to look like? And flush it out, because we can't come up with all that programming and different things in the next 2 months. So we're going to take the next school year to flush out what are those programs. That especially makes sense for the school, but I think it also makes sense for us as a church. Now, are there a couple of things we could immediately jump to and do? Yeah, getting more volunteers for the Sunday night meal. And literally saying as a congregation, this is us, we're doing this. And making that happen, yes. Are there a couple of other things that we could probably jump into right away? Some of it will be, some of you have gotten emails about benefits and effort that are part of your ministries. Please return those emails, nobody has yet. Rate it for me. I have not gotten a response. Okay. Well, there was a second one, Denise. Okay. All right. The benefits and effort one, we are going to be consolidating a few ministries and moving on from a couple of ministries. Now, that doesn't mean that it has to end. There are a couple of groups that are a good group of friends. You can continue to use part of the congregation's facility to have your group, but we're no longer going to call you a ministry of this place because you don't even tell anybody that what you're doing is happening. So some of those things will happen in the near future. Those will be part of the ministry plan. Those plans for consolidation and making sure that everybody has the volunteers, but also these desired outcomes will be part of the ministry plan. This is what we want to do. This is where we're going. We're then going to try and figure out how to do that. That's where I want to just share one last thought. I can come up with 87 ideas. I can't do them all. So in all honesty, it's going to require some people that go, that's a great idea, let's do it. Or, I have this idea, can we do it? I think it fits here, and we'll make that go. And so it's gonna take a lot of people to kind of make this go. What I'm going to tell you right now is it cannot be a one-person show. We talked about that with Naomi and Sunday Night Meal. She's got volunteers. What she needs is a team so that she doesn't have to be here every Sunday, so that there's another person that can kind of do that. There also needs to be, like the youth group, when they're doing the spaghetti dinner, cooking 3 times as much to to do the Sunday night meal to. That kind of stuff. We need some coordination of those things. So really what it comes down to is if you have an idea of something that is going to fit our desired outcomes, the first thing I'm going to tell you is, wonderful, great, run with it. Second thing I'm going to tell you is, who's your team? Because you will not be allowed to do it by yourself. You will have to have a team of 3 to 5 people that are going to help you do it. You can be the leader, or you can share the leadership amongst you, but you're going to have a team. And here's why. How quickly do you get burnt out if you have to do everything on everything? Quickly. We need this to be sustained. It can't run for 6 months and then you go, I can't do it anymore. It needs to be something that can be sustained. Now, some of you are going, I don't have time for that. I don't have an idea. That's okay. Listen to what I'm telling you. When somebody says, hey, will you help me with this? Say yes. Don't go, I don't know. That person has come to you and is looking for a teammate. Say yes. Even if you have to qualify with it with, I'm still working, right? I can't do a ton, but I will help. Help. Say yes, because that's really what's going to be needed. Okay? I will then also say to those of you that are going, I have ideas, let's do this, I got to find a team. Don't strong arm them. Invite.
You can charm them.
No. Potato. Right? You don't strong arm people. If the team doesn't come together, what do we know? It wasn't the idea to go with right now. If the team comes together, what do we know? God is blessing. It's a real good indication that God is blessing what's being done. Okay? All right, questions, comments, thoughts to wrap up tonight. Linda.
Does the church congregation know? Well, we talk a little bit about the Sunday night meal. Do they know that Trinity's coffers do not pay for that? That's my understanding anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone else pays for it? We
Yeah.
just supply the building and the electricity and all that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an issue with some people, that I don't want any part of that because we pay for that and I don't think that's right, or whatever.
I think, as much as I can say is, that Sunday night meal is called about 13 different things. Community needs meal, Sunday night meal, God's works meal, pain in the tush, and 27 others. Yeah, that there are that many names to it tells me that they don't know actually what's going on. Does our ministry plan need to nail down a name and say, here's the team? Yes. Yes. Some of that needs to happen. I will say this also. We've been working on that a little bit already. All of the elders that are here have 2 or 3 ministries that are supposed to be reporting to them. They're not getting reported to unless it's their wife. Then they get the reports. Right? I don't know why that is, but I would have thought it'd be the other way around. But these different reports need to be made, and we're going to be working on that, because if there's not some oversight, then things kind of go every which angle and all over the place. And that's when we end up with, how does this actually work, and what's actually going on, and why are we doing it? If we can keep some oversight over it and keep it to what we're saying we want to do, I think people will appreciate that. And I have heard that from people. There's so many things going on. I don't know anything about any of it. How am I supposed to get involved? That also needs to be taken care of. Yeah. Yes?
So the 30% of the school that are not church.
40% of the school.
40%, sorry. So those of us sitting here don't really have an opportunity to build relationships with those people.
Not yet.
I don't know what those opportunities are. I think we really need some input from the school to tell us. But I think that that's really an opportunity that we need to look at.
For sure. If you were at the if you'd been at the meeting last week, that is the number one thing that came away from it was parents want in the school, and we want congregation members in the school. So we need to come up with the programs to do it. Some of them are easy. Please come sit in the library and be the librarian. Others are, please be a reading partner with a kid once a week. Others are, if you can do upper level math, meaning you don't need your shoes off, we can use you for kids that need help with math. There are a bunch of other opportunities as well. We're working on that. We're looking at that. That's going to be part of what we're looking to do as the school year moves on and goes from there. So, yes?
Just really quick about the schools. And
yeah.
Probably 90% of the people sitting right here don't know anybody in school right now.
Yeah.
And you're going to hate this. Why can't we do something like we're going to take these 2 grades and we're going to say, we're going to do dinner, and we get 15 people from the congregation to help with the dinner and just have 2 different grade schools there.
Grade
2
classes.
different grades, and then we get to know the parents. Because first of all, you got to get to know the parents, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're the ones who are going to do it.
I will say
How
this.
are you going to get to know the parents if you don't have something
Yes.
to do with the parents?
Yeah, I will say this. That was also a huge focus last week was we do a pretty good job of meeting the needs of the kids. It's how do we then touch base with the parents? Food and parents, very good idea. I'm a busy person. I don't want to cook dinner. If there's food at church, right? That's why we've got food, faith, family, and fun. Faith, family, and fun. Why do I struggle with that? Yeah. Yeah. There. You are, Denise. You are. Yes. Yes. I totally agree with you, Denise. Are there opportunities like that? Yes. Might it be that we just do a meal once a month, and we're gonna do a huge potluck? You don't have to cook tonight. Yeah. But first, what we've got to do is ask the parents what they want to do. During the summer is the worst time to do that. So in September, we're going to put out a survey. We would love to do more for you as a family, for you parents. Here's a list of 25 ideas. Which ones do you like? Are there other ones that aren't on here? What could we do for you? And then use that a little bit. With the disclaimer, we can't do everything for everybody, but we're going to do a number of these things during this school year. Please let us know what you want to do. Diane.
I'm going to take this opportunity to do a commercial for Karen Brown and myself, which run the Adopt a Classroom program,
yes.
Which has always been the intent the last, I think, 5 years, to match a person from the congregation to sponsor the classroom. So you get to know the teacher, you get to know the kids in the classroom, and she sent out surveys, and we have some of the surveys coming back, but some of our current sponsors no longer want to do it next year because they've been doing it for several years. So if you know anyone that wants to be a sponsor of a classroom or wants to get to know the kids, contact Karen or contact me, and your role in that is a financial thing once a month, but you get to go in the classroom and meet the kids and read to them or whatever the teacher wants you to do for that classroom. It's a good way to become involved and meet everybody. I
will also say this. Some of the classrooms had 2 or 3 sponsors, one that kind of gave the money, one that did most of the work, another one that was around. So I would also encourage this. What have I said? I'd much rather have a team than one person.
But I don't think people realize how...
Oh, Mike. Yeah, Karen. Mike, please. Thank you. Sorry.
I love your soft voice, but...
I'm not sure that people realize how much you as a sponsor get out of this program.
Sure.
The kids are fantastic. There's nothing better than being in the grocery store and having a child run up to you and give you a hug. Oh, Mrs. Brown. They're just, I had the 8th grade. They were adorable. I loved them.
No, I love the 8th grade. They're wonderful. I'm glad they're in high school.
I know it's hard to believe, but they were. They were.
They actually were a wonderful group of kids when you didn't have to give them a grade. So, Yeah, no, I enjoyed having them on Tuesdays for religion. It was good. It was good. I will say this, though. Some of these programs we are going to try and tweak to where we can get more people involved. And are there going to be other programs that will come out? We want to be a school that reads. Are we going to need some people that are willing to work with the kids that struggle with reading? Get as many tools in their toolbox so that they can get up to grade level or beyond. Yes, there are tried and true things we can do. So those are going to be coming out. Are those going to be ready to go in September? No. There'll be a few, but there will be a few more that come out during the school year. But there will also be that request to the parents, how can we help you? What do you need? What can we come alongside and do? Tracy.
We recognize the relationships that you need to build, and over time things have disappeared. Even like with COVID and stuff, it's been 8 years since home visits happened. They're happening next year. We want to work on building relationships. So you're going to hear lots of that, and I will be contacting you to be involved.
Yes, yeah. So if you've got time and you want to come over and spend some time helping educate the kids, we will definitely make use of you. Do we have all of what that's going to be ready and set? No, but that's going to be what's coming together. We'll have a few things to start the year, and we'll roll out a few things during the year. But some of it will also be like Mom's Day Out, where the mom can drop off all their kids, including the little one that is still in the pumpkin seat, and go shopping for a couple hours without all the kids. I hear that's a really big thing. I always took all the kids and just yelled at them in Target, so, those sorts of things. We'll probably have muffins with Mom, donuts with Dad, these sorts of things. Are we going to need people to be there and be part of those programs? Yes. Yeah. So those sorts of things will be coming, and they will be a part of what we're doing. So, all right. So timeline here. We're going to have some more town halls probably in August. Gives me a little bit of time to. You're all going to get tonight notes from this that Joel over here. This is Joel Yeager, our financial manager. If you don't know him. He took some notes tonight, and I'm going to put all those notes together, and we're going to send it out to make sure that I have everything that you all thought and said, but also to elicit some more responses. Isn't it always the case you leave a meeting and you go, oh, I should have said this, or, right? I want to give you an opportunity to do that. You will get an email probably tomorrow, might be the next day, depending on how many notes he took. All right. And so you will get a chance to look at them and go, yeah, this is what we talked about, or no, that's not what it was. We need to correct this. Or here's another idea I had, please add it. Those sorts of things. Then we will be sending it out to the whole congregation to say, watch the video, look at the page, give us your feedback because you weren't at the town hall, and I will take all of that and put it together and come up with a new page here to kind of put in place and put a skeleton that we can then flesh out as what our ministry is going to be and how that's going to work. All right? I will also tell you we are going to have a town hall meeting about those extra things, Los Limones, all of those things. I am going to try and get people together to see who's interested in those things and what they're thinking about some of those programs. I can tell you right now, we just can't put all of those in the budget. That's just not a reality. But can we facilitate making sure that folks have an opportunity to help those different programs? I think the Appalachia group that you guys went with is closed down, so if we wanted to do that, we'd have to find a new group. I know enough DCEs and youth ministers, we could find one, right? But the Alaska trip, we could do it again if we really wanted to. I will say this, if the last kids that went on it are now out of college, it might not be easy to pop back up and get back going. But I know guys that work for LAMP, Lutheran Association of Missionaries and Pilots, that we could probably figure something out. But it also comes down to, does anybody want to go? I don't know that I want to go to Alaska. They've got big bugs, and bears. But if we've got a group of people that want to go, we can definitely make that happen. And we can facilitate it. Doesn't mean that we can pay for it, but if you all run a spaghetti dinner like the youth, you can make some money. So, all right? Any final thoughts? Everyone understand the next steps here? Some more town halls and the ministry plan in September. Okay. I want to thank you for taking the time to come tonight. We didn't open the windows. We should have. Keegan was right. We should have. My apologies. I was like, it feels good in here, and then all you came in. Not saying you're the reason, but yeah, we probably should open some windows. But thank you for your time. Again, look for an email from me and give me your feedback. Look through the notes. Make sure that we've got it halfway right, and then get back to me. And then in August, we will have another town hall with the final product to let you know this is what we're voting on in September. All right? Thank you. Yes? They put the mic away, Linda. That's okay. I'll just repeat yours.
I'll just yell it. Most of you remember Pastor Heimsoft.
Oh, yeah.
He's having cornea transplant tomorrow. He appreciated all the prayers. Also out in the entryway is a container for old portals of prayer, any old Bible studies you might have, old Bibles, any Christian material, just not guideposts, for love packages in Butler, Illinois. So we will take those at the end of July down when we go home for family reunion. So,
And
closets, your drawers,
yeah, good way to declutter your house of old stuff. But I think the announcement is going out July 4th weekend. No, it's this weekend. It's this weekend.
But we're not going to be here,
Yeah.
so it's in there already.
Okay, good. More information about that, talk to Linda about love packages. All right. Go to your homes.